Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I confess I've had a wobble. I don't know if it's because we're between two eclipses, but I definitely had a big wobble. And I started channeling TV shows and movies again. So I had to take a reading down the other day because I did the reading. I thought this is interesting, and I went and watched Doctor Strange, and I basically channeled Doctor Strange again. So it does happen that I tend to channel TV shows and things sometimes. So I've had a blip, I've had a wobble, I'm through it, right? I've made it out the other side. So talking about the other side, that's kind of the theme of this week's readings. I am planning on doing star sign readings. Now I don't know if I'm going to do them every single day, like Aries, Taurus Tuesday, Capricorn Thursday, all that kind of stuff. But I will be doing the signs gradually, working through them as and when it feels right for me. There is a message at the moment about going with the flow. This came through for me through meditation. When I was having a wobble, I was trying to ground, I was trying to meditate, and I was having some trouble doing it. So you can hear the background noise, actually. I haven't got a fire. I've got like, white noise sleep sounds, which I'll link to in the description box if I remember to. But I was using these like to meditate. And had one about like an ocean sounds. So let me know about that background noise, by the way. I don't know how you're going to feel about it. So I don't know if it's a bit too loud. I'm figuring things out, right? I'm figuring things out as I go along, which is kind of one of the messages that's coming through. So I had this thing about like sat on the beach, and a lot of you may know if you come to my channel regularly, when I meditate I imagine like a little seed of light that kind of grows roots, and the roots go down into the ground and I grow branches. But because in my meditation it started off with me sat on a beach, I sat on the shoreline of a beach, well, I was trying to put down my roots and I couldn't grip onto anything because the sand shifts, right? At the edge of the ocean where the waves come in and out, if you've ever kind of like stood there, the water takes the sand away from the edges of your feet. The ground is not solid, so you can't put down roots there, right? You'll wash away. So then I became a jellyfish. Still had the kind of tentacly things, but I found myself kind of like coming in and out like this on the tide. So there was a big message, and like going with the currents and things. So there's a big message at the moment, especially for me personally, about going with the flow. So not being too fixed, right? A tree is very, very fixed and rooted. This is much more like passive, maybe Emperorean energy. Like allow the currents and the tides to take you where you need to go. So that's what I'm doing. But today I am being guided to do an Aries reading, and the reading that I'm being guided to do may be a little bit controversial. Take it or leave it. It may be your cup of tea. It may not, right? But that may actually be a little bit loud. I may just turn it down one or two. There we go. I am getting guided to try and contact your guides, right? Your guides, your perhaps ancestors that have passed over, spirits, whoever wants to give you a message. But I'm going to try and contact like a specific energy. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because it was Mother's Day in the US yesterday, and I guess it kind of got in my head because I've seen all my American friends doing Mother's Day posts, and I had so many dreams about my own mother last night. Like every single dream, like my mum was there, and I had quite a good relationship with my mum. She was Scorpio, high priestess energy, so she tended to be quite secretive, but we did have a very, very strong bond. And she was very loving, and all those lovely emotions that come with the water signs as well. So she was coming through in my readings a lot, and I was protecting her and she was protecting me. And I woke up this morning and I randomized a song on Spotify. Now I've got about 2,000 songs on Spotify on my liked, when you just go through and like songs, so about 2,000 songs now. And I was like, right, why was I dreaming about my mum? What is the message there? What's going on? And I randomized a song, and it was Together Again by Janet Jackson. My mum's name is Janet, and that specific song has been coming through a lot, like feeling like it's a message from my mum. So I didn't even ask out loud, right? I asked in my head. So it's not like it was some algorithm that kind of was like, oh, she's asking about her mum, Janet. Let's give her a song by somebody called Janet. I asked in my head, right? So unless Spotify can read my brainwaves, which maybe, I don't know, you know, there's something to it, right? It's like the patterns of the universe are playing out again. So it was very, very meaningful to me. I had a big smile on my face. I felt like sunshine in my heart. You know, it's like my mum is here. My mum is talking to me. There is life after death, right? That's what it meant to me personally. You know, whatever you feel, I am not trying to persuade you of anything. I am not trying to dissuade you of anything. I am not trying to shake your foundations of beliefs here. I'm just talking about my own experience. You're coming to my channel. I hope you're engaging with that. Sorry, my phone is going to ping sometimes. I've got too many apps. I can't be bothered turning all the notifications off. It's just going to ping. So there's probably a way to do it. Leave me alone. Right, so fire sounds. What I've got through meditation at the beginning of your reading. So Aries, I've really focused on your energy and the message that wants to come through for you. So we're going to figure out who this is. You're going to have to do a little bit of interpretation, figure it out for yourself, what the message is, right? Like how this spirit guide can help you. I'm going to call it a spirit guide, you know, however you see it. So you can hear that I've got campfire songs on, like campfires could be meaningful to you. I chose it because you're Aries, so it may mean nothing, but take it if you will. Marshmallows as well. A lot of stuff about cosmetics. So I was getting like reminded to put my hand moisturizer on. Now I am getting a little bit older, so my hands do, you know, you can see they're getting a bit wrinkly, so I was reminded to put my hand moisturizer on, and this led me to think of somebody who I know who's passed over, who I don't know if she was Aries or not, but it was my uncle David's wife, Heather. So Heather could be a meaningful name to somebody. I know another Heather, but not that Heather. Hi, if you're watching. Yeah, my Uncle David's partner, Heather. Now, she was a very fiery person. I don't want to talk about her too much because, again, it's like a personal thing. But the messages that were coming through with her were taking care of yourself, taking care of your appearance, taking pride in your appearance, you know, using cosmetic treatments, right, to make the best of yourself. If I compare her to my mum and their relationship, my mum tended to wear like oversized clothes. She would hide her figure. You know, she had a very beautiful figure. She was a very beautiful woman, but she would hide her appearance. She'd play it down, right? Heather was also very beautiful, but she was quite fiery. I do wonder if she was an Aries, but she would wear like, you know, orange kind of like pleather pants, and, you know, she was bright, she was vibrant, you know, she would wear makeup, she was kind of a bit dramatic. She was, you know, she would, that kind of like Queen of Wands energy. So there's something about your appearance, right? And maybe not fearing aging as well, but something about not only applying topical treatments, right? Not only applying like moisturizer or, you know, makeup, but also taking care of yourself from within. So things like getting enough sleep, all the things we don't want to hear, right? We know this, we don't want to hear it. Get enough sleep, right? Exercise, eat healthily, pay attention to what you're putting in your body, not only what you're putting on your body. This is the message that was coming in with her, because she didn't necessarily take care of herself on the inside as much as she did on the outside. Take care of you. I've got taking care of yourself from within. Mentally, right? Take care of your mental health. Physically, what are you putting inside your body? Are you exercising? And emotionally, what are your emotions doing? Because if your emotions are really, really all over the place, and it could be perhaps somebody who works in an emotional field. So they gave me quickly like something to do with courts, or maybe like social workers, you know, like where you're dealing with emotional situations, it can take an emotional toll on you. So if that's you, or if that's your person, just be aware of that message about take care of yourself emotionally as well, you know. So somebody could have red hair or really like the color orange. I'm getting a lot of orange. Okay, so it may mean something to you, it may not. We'll see what the cards say. I'm just going to pause, take a deep breath, have a drink of water, and we'll come back. I was just reminded there that I need to buy more iron tablets. So, you know, your B vitamins, vitamin B12, iron, folate, all those kind of things. Especially if you're a woman, you may want to, because women lose blood, right? Not always. Again, we're getting into a different territory there. But if you feel like you are tired all the time, you've got a lot of fatigue, maybe just get your iron levels checked. That could be a message for somebody there too. I know that I need to. I'm starting to see, I do suffer from like low iron. And I can tell because I get really tired, and I get bruises a lot. Like my bruises tend to, I don't know if you can see this here, my bruises tend to show up more, so I'm covered in bruises at the moment. So I definitely need to go and get my iron tablets. So, who would like to come through, please, for Aries? So people watching this reading, so you may be Aries or your person may be Aries. Who would like to come through, please? That is a lot of cards. Okay. Apparently 3 people want to come through, which is a bigger reading than I was intending. Spider, shark, and gazelle. Okay. So tell me about spider. So any of these may mean something to you. You may, you know, your person may have had a tattoo of one of these things. Interesting, the gazelle is here. I did a practice reading for myself. Sorry, I should say trigger warning, sort of animal remains. So just close your eyes for a second, skip forward a minute if you don't like this. This is a little guy from Nigeria. He's made from bone and fur, and there's a message coming through with him about don't waste things, right? So I'm vegetarian, and I don't kill or eat animals, but there is a message about, like, if you were to, you know, like old fashioned, like cavemen almost, like, sorry, I don't mean to be derogatory in any way there, but you know, if you think about like the old ways of like killing animals, where it's like you kill the animal, you eat the meat, you don't waste any of it, you know, you make toys from the bones. Yeah, so this my family, my dad and my nana and my grandpa, they did live in Nigeria. My dad was raised in Nigeria, and this was one of the gifts that were given to them. So yeah, it's when I was doing my reading, there was a lot of, I had this on the table, and there was a lot of like antlers and deers and, you know, things like this coming through in my reading. So yeah, really interesting there. Could be meaningful for somebody. Just the gazelle made me think of mentioning it. So I'm trying not to be scatty. The readings are making me very, very scatty at the moment. The spider. The spider talks about interconnectivity. The spider web specifically at the moment is making me think of mycelium. So mycelium is like it's like a fungus, like a mushroom, right? It goes underneath the forest floor, and it connects all the trees. So something could be happening at one end of the woods. And if you think about like how the vibrations, right, of the spider web alert the spider that there's something on the web, it's a similar thing. There could be something happening in the forest over here, and it creates like a message through the mycelium, so the other trees on the other side of the forest know that there's a threat. So this could be, spider webs also are about protection, so they protect the spider, right? They serve the spider by catching the flies, but they also are a symbol of protection. If you think about dream catchers, so there could be something here about your dreams, about this spirit guide could be helping you and protecting you in your dream space. Perhaps from predators. The shark to me is somebody who's they're a little bit cutthroat. So this could be 3 different people. It could be talking about one person and one situation. So take it as it resonates. The shark tends to be very focused. They have a lot of purpose. They know what their intention is, right? They're quite direct, quite sharp. There are emotions involved here, though. This is earth energy. This is water energy. Perhaps this person was a bit of a loan shark. I don't know, but it really talks about somebody who's got a lot of purpose. A bit apex as well, you know, somebody like that. The gazelle then. The gazelle talks about it's fire energy. It's let's have a read of the gazelle actually. I'm not 100% sure what I'm getting from this. So with me talking about Nigeria, it could be because the gazelle could be indicating an ancestor who has associations with Africa for somebody. The gazelle. Heightened awareness and ability, vulnerability. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much time and effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. I am actually feeling like this is one person. So I feel like this is either one spirit guide or a group of spirit guides. And the message that's coming through with this is that this energy is protecting you. As I was talking about my mum in my dreams, right? Dreams, protection. And this is like the ability to be yourself without having to worry about predators. So if you think about women, right? If women are, you know, dressed up, I think this is the thing about my mum. Like my mum didn't want to attract the wrong kind of attention, and she often did. She had a series of like terrible boyfriends. It's like, it's almost like a defense mechanism to be like, I do it myself as well sometimes if I'm, because I do like to dress up, I do like to feel good about myself, I do like to feel attractive for myself, right? And there's sometimes I kind of put up a bit of a defense where I'll post a picture of me looking horrible on the internet. It's like, oh no, don't, you know, I'm not gaslighting anyone here kind of thing, but it's like, it's like to put off the people, right? Because if people are only coming for you because they want, I don't know, because they find you sexy, because they want to spend the night with you. It's like if you put up a picture of you looking gross, hopefully it's going to put off, you know, the kind of really shallow people. So there's I think with my mum, there was a bit of a defense mechanism there where she would wear, you know, like the baggy t-shirts and things, and she wouldn't wear makeup. And, you know, she played down her appearance. And she worked in a pub as well. She was a landlady in a pub. So you can imagine that there were a lot of predatory people around. So I'm talking about my mum, but I'm drawing from personal experience to explain your reading. So I feel like with the gazelle, this is like allowing yourself to be beautiful, allowing yourself to be graceful, allowing yourself to be seen. And this is naturally going to attract attention, and not all of that attention is going to be good. But the spider is here to protect you from that, or at least give you an early warning system, right? At least show you those red flags. So the message from your guides is one of protection, and encouragement to be who you want to be, right? And to not worry about what kind of attention that's attracting. It's like there's a safety net here. There's a warning system here in place. Why did this deck is causing me trouble? Yeah, look at the devil there on the bottom. I wasn't intending on using it. It's really kind of calling to me, and I'm not quite sure. You can see I keep going back to it and putting it down. I'm not quite sure how it's going to fit in with this reading. So I want to say your relationship then. So this could be, if this is somebody who's passed over, this could be the state of the relationship while you were living. I personally believe that as soon as someone passes over, like when we're in our physical body, right? When we're a human on earth, when our soul is in the vehicle, right? We have a very limited human perspective. We can only understand what we see from our own point of view, right? We can only understand the information we receive, right? The things that we can see. It's very hard to kind of like understand a whole situation fully because we don't have that higher perspective. I believe that when we pass over and our soul transcends, it's kind of all-knowing, right? There's information available to us there that wasn't available to us while we were kind of trapped in our own perspective. So I do feel like a lot of the time, although we may have conflicts with people on earth, you know, we may not understand each other's perspective on earth, I do feel like as soon as one person passes over and they get that full perspective, I do feel like there's a chance to heal those connections if you want to, right? But the relationship, okay, so it's going to help you identify who this person is or who this group of people are. The relationship, please, between the people watching and the messages. Observer. Okay, yeah. So if you, again, it's got this like, I'm getting this kind of like we're watching out for you energy from this reading. 49. Perspective. Oh my God. What was I just saying, right? About the lens as well. The lens that we see through perspective, right? It's like we only have that limited perspective, but the moon can see everything, right? On Earth, we have a limited perspective, but the moon can see everything, right? A higher perspective. Exactly what I was saying. I love it when I get confirmed like that. Observer. Sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and you often hear one thing when a person says another. Exactly. Because everything's filtered through our own lens. So somebody could be explaining something to you very, very clearly. Somebody could be really giving you all the information that they can possibly give you about their situation. But unless you... because we filter all that information through our own experiences, sometimes a little bit of the meaning can get lost because we apply it to what we know. We can't apply what they know because we don't know what they know, right? So perspective, lenses, filters. I find this with readings as well. I can do a reading and I can interpret it one way, and you will all give me, I can speak to say 3 of you and you'll give me different feedback. Like you all took something different from it because you filtered it through your own lenses, right? So okay, feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. We'll be together again. Take the higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. Okay? So I do feel like there's been some conflict in this connection, or in a connection. It could also be talking about a connection here on Earth, but this these guides are telling you, take a step back, wait, try and understand from the other person's perspective. There's something here that's something here from your past experiences that you're applying to the situation, and it may not necessarily be the same situation. You know, I was talking about those red flags. So yeah, take a step back, wait, see, be aware that you may be interpreting something. Just be aware that you are filtering something through your own lens, and it may not be, you may be taking something one way and it may not be the way that that person intended to say that thing, you know. Yeah, this is talking about as well, some of you may be studying reception theory. So I just saw 2222 on the timestamp. So you may be seeing number patterns. I also saw 444 when it was 444 and I didn't say. So watch out for repeating numbers. 2s are about partnerships, 4s are about stability. Some of you may be looking into reception theory. So I learned this because I studied humanities, which has like history and art components and literature components. And you can take something, a piece of art, for example, and you can look at how it was perceived in different eras. Or you could look at a film as well if you're doing like film theory. I'm getting film theory. What is it? There's just a theory, a film theory. Maybe some of you watch that channel, Film Theory. But it's like, you know, a film could be created and not received well when it was first created. And then it could get like a bit of a cult following and be watched in a different generation, right? And like different things could be picked out of it, right? It could be before its time. So yeah, definitely. You could look at things like Othello, you know, and, you know, different reception theory around Othello, depending on which group is doing the interpretation. So definitely something there. Observer. So the relationship with this person. Any of these creatures can mean anything to you as well. Spiders, sharks, gazelles, and foxes. Father of Wands. So this could definitely be a fire sign for you. It could be an Aries, of course. It could be a Leo as well. Father of Wands is specifically Leo for me. This person, your relationship with this person, you could have been this person's father, but I'm more getting this could be your father or a father-like figure. Not necessarily. It could also be somebody who's just very, very dynamic, very kind of like the shark energy, right? I'm kind of getting like the shark and the gazelle in one here. So somebody who really makes the best of themselves. They have a lot of confidence. They have a lot of charisma. They have a lot of charm. They're quite ballsy. They really go for what they want. They know what they want. They don't mess around. This is kind of like fire in the stomach energy. So it could be that this person perhaps was very impulsive. It could be that this person was very, this is what I want and I'm going to get what I want. It's in the upright, so it's positive. But of course, when different people interact, you know, it can bring out good and bad qualities. So there you are. I'm noticing something as well about this, the shape of the telescope going this way and the shape of this stick going this way. It seems to be pointing at the spider for some reason for me, so that could indicate something for you. Snakes shed their skin, they evolve, they grow. So it is a message about transformation and metamorphosis. I've also been getting a very strong message coming through. My guide, my person who came through for me was the snake, right? So there's a message that's been coming through very, very strongly, and it had a really big impact on me. Again, I've had a huge wobble. I've had almost like a second dark night of the soul over this last week. And you have multiple awakenings, right? You have multiple ascensions. So I definitely feel like I've had one this week where I've shed a lot of stuff from the past. A lot of stuff has come back up and I've kind of like degunked it, right? So okay, I'm going to tell you. So through my meditation, I've talked about being on this beach and trying to put the roots down and not being able to, and then being like a jellyfish. Ultimately, through this kind of meditation vision that I had, and I very much kind of let go. I kind of surrendered. And I just went where the tides took me. And I ended up going really deep down into the ocean. And there was this like gold chest there. It's like glowing, this gold chest. And my instinct was to go towards the gold chest. But because I was really reminding myself to surrender, I found myself swimming past the gold chest, right? I was almost like a current. I went past it. And I found myself up against this, or put in front of this wood, right? Like wooden panels, almost like a shipwreck or an old box. And it was the wood was all rotten, so I was trying to like get my fingers in the gap, and I was pulling off bits of rotten wood, and eventually a big chunk of this like this board came off in my hands, and it was full of like old gunk. So it was like black, almost tar like, or like earthy, like mulchy, like smelly, disgusting, kind of swampy black sludge. And I was kind of pulling it. So I was putting my fingers in it, and everything was gross. But I was putting my fingers in it and pulling it out of the box, right? I was kind of like clearing it out, and it was all filtering down and like swirling around my feet. It was so gross. But I was like, I knew that I had to get in this box. I knew that there was something in it. So like I continued to kind of like pull off and wedge off these panels until there was a space that was, and I was just still trying to like clear out this gunk, and I found myself going into it, right? I went into this space that I'd opened up, into all this gunk, and like I was digging around inside this space, and I found a pearl, like a pretty big like pearl this big, and I was like, oh, I guess that's what I came for. And as soon as I got this pearl, I was back up on, like, have you seen Ariel, where she comes out of the ocean? It's like a gif, and she flips her hair back. It's like she's back out of the ocean. It was like that. I was like suddenly out of the ocean, and I'd started on a very stormy kind of English, like Cliffs of Dover looking beach, and I kind of washed up on this tropical Caribbean island. It was like paradise, right? And I was there in this kind of like glistening, clear, warm, beautiful water, covered in this gunk, and like with this pearl in my hand, right? So I was like, I kind of like got my own autonomy back. So in this vision, I was like sort of like awake dreaming. I was like, well, I've got to I don't want this gunk on me. I want to get this gunk off. So I'm there rinsing my hair and like washing it off in the shallow waters with this pearl in my hand. And I'm like, I didn't even want it. This is the thing. I didn't even want the pearl. I was like, why do I have this? And so I'm there like wading around sort of like about like thigh deep in the water. And something glinted at me, and I bent down and I picked up this diamond ring, and it was kind of like kind of like an emerald cut diamond ring, and it was kind of like a silvery coloured mount, so like platinum or white gold or something like that. And the diamond itself had like a bluish tint to it, so I don't know if that's meaningful to anyone. But I had this diamond ring, and it was like that was the real treasure. It was like, it had this feeling of like, why do I want this pearl? And then I got this ring and I was like, that's my ring, right? That's for me. So I put it on, and I put it on, I think I put it on my ring finger. It could have been this one. Because I could, right? I didn't have to hold it. I could put it on my finger. So it's almost like there was a message about having to go through something that you know, to go through something for something that you didn't really want. And then leading you to a better place and finding the real treasure. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about diamond rings and pearls and things like this. I think the message was, I don't know, I'll come to the overall message in a second, or what I took from it, okay? So I ended up putting the pearl back into the water. I didn't want it. And as I put it in, it kind of dissolved, you know, like pearls dissolve in vinegar, and it kind of like went away. Yeah, but it's like I'd done what it was like I was being rewarded with the diamond ring and the kind of paradise. It was like, you've been rewarded because you let go and you allowed us to take you to this dark place where to me, it was ridding yourself of emotional gunk. So the message for me was like, going back to the past, or going to, because the bottom of the ocean for me is like, symbolic of very, very deep emotions that perhaps you've repressed, right? And experiences that you've locked away. So going to the deepest, coldest, darkest parts of your psyche, your subconscious, your memories, which of course the shark would be able to do. And again, it's like the shark very intently, I imagine, would go down with a purpose, but I was very much being led there. So yeah, the clearing out of the gunk was like me clearing out emotional gunk. So if you watch my last reading, very much I cleared out some emotional gunk in that from my past, from my childhood. And that's kind of the process that I was going through, is clearing out the emotional gunk in this thing that I'd locked away at the bottom of my psyche, right, in my emotional waters. But I found the pearl, and for me the pearl was the wisdom. So the snakes have been coming through with the message of like, the snake is symbolic of an experience. And if a snake can inject venom, right? A snake can be toxic, a snake can be poisonous. So your experiences can be toxic. However, you can also milk a snake to get the anti-venom. So there's something about milk the snake, right? Milk the snake for everything you can. Get every last drop of venom out of it, so that you could transform it into something that's healing and soothing and an anti-venom, right? So it's like it's like the transmutation of toxicity from negative experiences into lessons, into being able to read the early warning signs, being able to turn situations to your advantage. It's like, how can I take this, and instead of having it kind of crush me with anger, how can I use this to fuel me into something that motivates me to be better, or to inspire others, or to protect others? It's like, you know, it's like anger isn't a bad thing. You know, it's anger is something healthy. Anger is something that we're meant to feel, but how you deliver on that anger is different. So you can punch a wall and break your hand, right? What's the point? Or you can take that anger and be like, I want to make a change. I'm going to petition my government. I'm going to start a human rights group. You know, you can use it as a healthy fuel. And 3333 was just on the timestamp as I was saying that. So there's a big message there with that. So I don't necessarily know if you got on with this person. Okay, so they are coming through for you though, right? I feel like you could have gone through experiences that maybe this person didn't know about, but now they're over. They see everything, right? Now they're on the other side, they see everything. So they see your experiences and they're now protecting you, right? It's like perhaps somebody who didn't know what you were going through while they were alive, but now they do, right? And now they're protecting you. They couldn't protect you then, they're protecting you now, possibly. God, this feels like a very... I'm gonna have to put trigger warnings, aren't I? Okay. So, what is the message? What is the message from the energy coming through today for the people watching? The energy that I am picking up on today, what is the message for the people watching? Thank you. It's in the reverse. So you have turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race. 62 could be a significant number. 49 could be a significant number. So turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to read it in the... I'm going to put it upright, but I'm going to read the reverse. So this is what this person wants me to communicate to you. Protection message. Pushing too hard or rushing to leave others in the dust is not the way of turtle spirit. Even if it seems at times it is the way of the world. Turtle spirit wants you to remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. In the protection position, turtle spirit is giving you the message that the best thing to do right now is to let go of the drive to compete or control and do more. Instead, simply be. Exactly. Go. Right. So it's funny because I've been doing impressions of this quite a lot recently. Like, dude, in Finding Nemo, he meets some turtles, and the turtles are kind of like surfer dudes, and they say, we're riding the current, right? We're riding the current around, I think it's like Australia. So it's like a warm current that kind of, yeah, they're kind of like surfing along. So these turtles are very much going with the flow. So I'm getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. So that could be meaningful to somebody, or Hero Turtles, depending on what part of the world you watch that program. And yeah, I'm seeing, you know, they have the kind of cloth covering their eyes. That's specifically what I'm seeing. And Finding Nemo, of course, with the surfer dudes. So it could be that this person was a bit of a surfer dude. Could be something about surfing. I can't think of an Aries actually who I know goes surfing. Okay. So simply be, go with the flow. Like the message came through for me, right? Just go with the flow. Don't try to cling to things, because turtles as well are kind of like Cancerian energy for me. So they can talk about clinging on or trying to control situations. An old Norse saying goes, we do without doing and everything gets done. That feels like it's a message for me as well. We do without doing and everything gets done. We do without doing and everything gets done. Spirit conspires on your behalf, so slow to a crawl or even stop. Releasing any fear that life is a rat race that you might be losing. It doesn't say rat race, that popped into my head, so that could be meaningful for somebody. It says race, right? I said rat race. Trust, the peace, prosperity, love, and purpose are all yours to enjoy right now. Do not do, simply be. That's tricky for me, because I was like, right, do you know what? I'm not doing any readings this week. And now here I am doing a reading. I was like, I'm guided to just not do readings, but yeah, I'm doing a reading. But I was guided to do it. So it may just be like I do the reading today so that you all know what's going on for me, and that I may not be doing daily readings. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll go with the flow, right, guys? Guys, gals. Tell me about Turtle Spirit. So the message this person's trying to communicate. You may have experienced some heartbreak. You may be carrying some emotional wounds. Again, Turtle Spirit, Cancerian energy can really help you with this. Turtles, of course, are really good at doing a deep dive. The shark, the turtle, can both do that deep dive into those emotional waters. So I think the message is, do take the time to really delve into your past. Again, something Cancer's very, very good at. Go back over your past. Go think about things that you've not thought about for a long time, especially anything that you may have locked away in kind of like a treasure chest and buried deep, like deep in the darkest places of your emotions. Like, shush phone, like go and open those emotions up, clear out the gunk, let it wash away, right? Let it rinse clean. And yeah, but take your time to do so. Yeah, there is some pain there. There's some pain that I feel is slowing down your progress. I feel like it's tying you up, right? It's like you're not going to be able to move forward unless you go back, because the turtles, like, The shark is moving forward with purpose, but the turtle's turning back. It's like you cannot complete your purpose unless you go back to perhaps whatever this is symbolic of and deal with the emotional pain attached to that, just with the way that the cards are all facing. There is something about looking back at the past. Okay, so how can you draw on your spirit guides to help you? How can your guides help you? How can your guides help you? How can your guides help you? So this is the angels among us. So there's a lot of different deities from different religions in here. So please don't get offended if I pull out one out that is not your religion. It's kind of like, it's just symbolic of the energy that's coming through for you and what they can help you with. So it's more about the personality than the specific deity, just so you're aware of that. So what could this person, Mary Magdalene, gorgeous. I love Mary Magdalene. So divine feminine, devotion, sacred sexuality. So as I was talking about this gazelle being almost like Queen of Wands energy, so do take gender out of it. I did find with my own personal reading that the gender wasn't important. It was more about the energy that that card was portraying. But there is something with the Mary Magdalene card and this gazelle card, how I was comparing my mum and Heather, like my auntie Heather. She was Heather was very Queen of Wands, right? She would dress up, she was bold and dramatic and confident. Not necessarily confident, I think there was an element of false confidence in there, but she did make the most of herself kind of and her appearance. My I was going to say my uncle there, there could be something about someone's uncle. My mum dressed down, right? She didn't wear makeup. She didn't particularly care about getting, I'm like that, like I can't be bothered getting my hair cut at a hairdresser's, I just trim the ends. Like she wore big baggy clothes, you know, and she was a very sexy woman, you know, underneath all that, but she hid it. This is not hiding it, right? This is not, there's something as well about shaming women, like shaming women for, when a woman wants to be beautiful, when a woman perhaps wants to show her cleavage or, you know, show her curves, you know, sometimes it can be taken as an invite when it's not, right? It's like when I dress up, when I make the most of myself, it's because I want to feel good about myself. It's what I want to wear, what I want to wear. I want to wear the clothes that I feel sexy and comfortable in, where it, like, I'm not dressing up for anyone else, you know, I'm not dressing up to please anyone else, I'm dressing up to please myself. So, but it can be, you know, again, with different lenses, people can look at that person and because of their own experiences or their own belief system around what somebody dressing like that means, they can apply their own ideas onto that person, which may not necessarily be true. So let's have a read of this. Mary Magdalene. You know, I always think I'm going to do 20-minute readings and they're always an hour. I don't know how it happens. Aries, and you're normally one of the quick readings, so. Devotion, divine feminine, sacred sexuality. As a symbol of the divine feminine rising in our modern times and the patron saint of penitent sinners, sex workers, sexual temptation, women and hairdressers, funny, the jury is still very much out on exactly who Mary Magdalene was in her human life. While most will agree she was a disciple of Jesus, many disagree about her background. Was she a prostitute filled with demons or a priestess of Isis? Was she simply a beloved apostle, or was she Jesus' lover, wife and mother to his child? This mystery is part of the magic that she offers us. One thing is for certain, Mary Magdalene will be whoever she needs to be for you. The Oracle. Embody and embrace your divine feminine power. Surrender to the mystery of the divine and the magic of life. Follow the wisdom of your own heart above all else. So I'm going to read that one again. Follow the wisdom of your own heart above all else. So you can call on your spirit guide, the people here today bringing you a message, to for assistance with hearing the voice of your own heart and soul, being of service to the divine, being of service to love, sharing your spiritual work with the world, and sexual relationships. So if you need help with any of those things, your spirit guide is here to help you with that. So it could be that you are getting into new relationships perhaps, and you're worried about kind of the predators. You know, I want to say that you already know how to spot the early warning signs, right? You already know how to spot the red flags. So anything that kind of like tingles those senses and sets off alarm bells, like, you know this, right? Your guides are protecting you. They are sending you signs. So, and you can also embody this energy by following your heart's calling, devoting yourself to your spiritual practices, serving love, sharing your message with the world, and seeing your sexuality as sacred. It does seem to me quite like Venus energy. Now, I love the goddess Venus. So Venus Aphrodite, but particularly kind of the Roman version of her, because the Romans very much saw her as a patron saint of Rome. She was a protectress, she was a mother, she was a guardian of Rome. You know, her sexuality, that divine feminine sexuality, was you know, the power of sexual attraction to like create babies, and you know, that kind of like sexy mother energy was very much revered. You know, it was very important and revered in Roman culture. Yeah, so she was a very, very powerful goddess, and she was very sexy, and she was respected for that, right? So I think sometimes, especially if you were working, so going back to the beginning where I was talking about perhaps being like a lawyer or something, perhaps women in male-dominated fields can often feel the need to cover up or dress very conservatively and play down that femininity, because perhaps there's more challenge for women in those fields to be taken seriously, right? Because you don't know what people are going to say. They're going to be like, she slept her way to the top. They're showing me like Legally Blonde, right? She's very sexy, she's very feminine, but you know, the professor thinks that he can take advantage of her, and like that's how she's going to further her career. And she's like, I don't need that, right? I can be a powerful, sexy, beautiful woman. And you know what she does? She actually uses her femininity. She uses her knowledge about hairdressing, right, to win the case. So big spoilers for Legally Blonde there. I assume everybody's watched it who's going to watch it, right? It's been out for years. But it's like she doesn't play down her femininity to fit into a male-dominated conservative world. She plays it up and she utilizes it because it gives her an advantage, because the other people don't have that, right? They don't have that knowledge, they don't have those skills or experiences, they do not have that lens. So she can bring in a whole new perspective that wins the case. So yeah, it's your superpower. Don't play it down. Be who you are, I think, is the message of that. So this is going to transform a situation where you feel like doors have been closed from you. You feel like you feel a sense of failure, or you feel a sense of defeat, or you feel a sense of loss, especially in terms of finances or career or practical things. And it brings it into a situation where you could be being compensated for that. You could be getting compensated for being, for example, if you applied for a job and you didn't get the job because you're a woman, you know, that's discrimination. So this could be a payout for a discrimination case. It could also be something like your ability to make things right, your ability to make things fair, to where things weren't fair in the past. So that in that case, it could be, you do get this a lot, Aries. I remember having a really good reading for you about somebody who was going, the way it came through for me was somebody who was coming from again, it's funny that I was talking about Nigeria, like coming from a black background, right? And going into a very white dominated field. So the way it came through for me in that specific reading, and it's one of those that really stuck with me. And it's like, I had to be careful about how I was saying this as well, because I don't want to be seen as being, I don't know. I don't know. I worry about how people view me. But the message was, it was almost like a black woman going into a university course, a university program that was dominated by rich white men, right? And there was a lot of fear about that, about fitting in. Am I going to find my place here? But it was like, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you do it, and you open the door for other people from your background to follow you, right? It's like you are breaking into that industry. You are breaking through those glass ceilings. You are breaking down those doors so that other people can follow. And it takes a lot of bravery and confidence. And it was like, you were the right person to do it. So that's not going to be for everybody, obviously, but it was whoever that reading was for. And it really impacted me. I remember talking about it for weeks, and I was like, God, I hope they do it. I hope they do it. And I'm getting a similar energy. It's like things weren't right in the past, but you're making them right, right? And you're making it right without watering down or filtering out who you are. I love it. I love it. So very cool. And you don't have to be female. It doesn't have to be that specifically, but there's something there with those messages coming through. So I really do hope that this reading has been helpful for you. Maybe I'm going to pull you a song as well, just on camera. I like to do this. Well, it's kind of off camera because of the reflections on my phone, but live on camera, I'm going to get you a song. Live, slightly off camera, I'm going to get you a song. So I'm going to shuffle play. I've got about 2,000 like songs on my Spotify playlist. We'll see what you get. So a song, please, for this reading. So the final message from the guides that are coming through for the person watching. The final message, please, for the person watching from the guides that I'm channeling. You've got Nice Guy Eddie by Sleeper. So I'll admit that it all started as a scam because every girl wanted you and a year-round tan. We know that you're old, but you're kind. You're rich and your heart is dicky. Yes, I knew that you wanted me. And he said, hey, love, how are you fixed? We'll meet at 10 past. Now it's 6:15. Sorry, past. She's from London, sorry. Past. We'll spend the whole night making love on the sofa. It may sound funny, but he wasn't supposed to. And then we both settled down to our favourite meal. Do you fancy veal parmesan and a case of warm Chianti? Passed up my bag. I picked up that bra you fancied. Yes, I knew that you wanted me. Yeah, so you were always so polite. I think I loved you. And he choked on his olive in his dry martini. So go and have a read of those lyrics. See if anything jumps out to you. Maybe you knew someone called Eddie. Yeah, cool. The It Girl. So I don't know, I'm going to leave that with you. Hopefully something in there was helpful for somebody. Do let me know if you feel like, if you are like, yes, this reading was for me, and yes, I know exactly who that guide is. I would really appreciate it if you left me a like, but specifically if you put an emoji in the comments. You don't even have to give me anything else, just any emoji that you want. Put an emoji in the comments, and then I know that the readings resonated with you, because I do sometimes wonder, am I just speaking into the abyss, right? But if the reading resonated, do leave me an emoji. And if you enjoyed the reading, please leave me a like. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you want to hit that subscribe button, it's free to do. It just means you know when my readings are going live. And of course, if you want to share the readings, absolutely do so. Stealth watchers, I understand. I appreciate you. Thank you for tossing up those view hours for me. Yeah, I don't know when the next reading is going to be up. I'm going to kind of wait and see kind of how the tides change, where my guides like flow me to. But that was the reading for today. So do take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.